I'm going to piggyback on an amazing human being called Kevin Annett. He is the advocate for children. My fundamental thesis in my own nature and my own being is that people, from what I observe, it's observation, people hate children. I can't come to any other conclusion. And it's the fundamental, it's the underlying demise, what we're facing. I'm going to tag my videos as Fukushima art. And I think Fukushima is an outgrowth. It's a manifestation of the fact that people hate children. People hate children. And I'm going to piggyback. Oh, that's outrageous. How can you say that? That's outrageous. I love my children. I love children. Oh, that's outrageous. Well, why do you send your children at 7:30 in the morning and minus 20 degrees in our town walking? They're grade 2, whatever grade they're in, they're walking with their sibling, an 8-year-old going with a 5-year-old to kindergarten, on his hand, on her hand, going to school. They should be in bed until 9 and then have a hot chocolate and sit around the house until 11. And then, you know what? Then you go to school. Anyway, I'm going to piggyback on a fabulous, magnificent soul called Kevin Annett. I'm going to just let you hear. I'm going to attach the video to it. And we are in the shitter because people hate children. Yeah, get upset, whatever. And Kevin Annett has been an advocate against the institutions of ritual abuse, slaughter, murder, killing, the criminals that are performing their own devious, there is an indulgence in people. This is something that is, we all experience this. Every single human being on this planet experiences this feeling of indulgence, to get away with one, to satisfy yourself. It's some leftover from some reptilian age. I don't know what that is, but it's all in our DNA. This is DNA, and we have a conscience, the conscience that allows us to distinguish, to understand what is the right thing to do. So you do the right thing. If you don't do the right thing, we end up with Fukushima and slaughtered children, and those that survive, the children, the ones we send to war, to shoot depleted uranium into the Iraqi desert, to firebomb, to bomb Vietnam, to do Dresden, to do Auschwitz, to do all those things. It's basically the children that were abused and hated end up running the place and doing havoc, doing what they do. This is my thesis. This is what I'm convinced of. And Fukushima art, what I'm doing, I have dedicated myself, and without much ado, I'm going to just piggyback. I'm going to let Alfred Webermont, he's a bit of a stodgy old fart. He can't really talk very fluently, but that's okay because he's a conscious soul. It's all right. Listen to what he has to say. And I'm going to lead in. I've done a few notes. I hope I can pull this all together. Listen.
Well, there's quite a lot of news from the trial of Pope Francis in Brussels. There's news of Irish babies being ritually murdered and a number of new names coming up. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, well, I'll just
Kevin,
summarize what
Annett
I posted this week. It's up at itccs.org if people want to read it, although there have been a few new reports over the last 24 hours. Main report has to do with the story that's all over the world news, including in the main corporate media. The nearly 800 babies whose remains were found in a cistern at what's called the St. Mary's Home for Mothers and Babies in Tuam. It's pronounced Chom, actually, in Irish.
God's orphanage, St. Mary's.
Now, the official story is that they don't know how these children died. There's no crime scene at all, but they've they plan an investigation. Now, this is like an official in-house investigation where the church that did it and the government get together and decide what they're going to release about it. However, sources inside the Garda, which is the national police force in Ireland, have told us that it's the case that their forensic people have already gone in there and done some examinations. On the basis of that, there was a statement from one of these cops that said that, I believe the quote was, "These children weren't simply killed, they were slaughtered because they bear all the marks of what they understand to be ritual sacrifice." For example,
All right, he'll go on a little bit about this now. I'll cut back into it. So you have the groundwork laid here. What Kevin Annett, I don't understand why he's still alive, because he's coming out. He is countering the greatest forces of evil and criminality on this planet. People that are involved in child ritual murders. Can you understand this? We're talking about child ritual murders. Jimmy Savile, the people that were supplied with children through the child services in England. Jimmy Savile, the great patron saint of children's services, raising money for children's services, stealing children from parents that were deemed to be unfit to be parents, and he supplied these children to these degenerate, these criminal reptiles. The royalty, the people in Parliament, these pudgy donut people, these tiny little hand kind of people, they've never lifted a tool in their life to be able to work. They just wank, they whack off. So they're given children. And this is what Kevin Annett is about. He has exposed the residential schools in Canada, the genocide against the native peoples of North America, South America. Kevin Annett is an advocate against this abuse. This is horrible. And the reason we have Fukushima is because people have not understood that you hate your children, you don't take care of your children in the best possible way, you're going to end up with the destruction of everything. That's Fukushima. I'm going to skip now to the next. Where am I? Oh, let's see what I've got.
Which fits the pattern of this Ninth Circle cult that operates within the Roman Catholic Church, and which has been documented and described already in the evidence before the Common Law Court in Brussels. In the case of Jorge Bergoglio, Pope Francis, and others who are now being tried for these crimes, and the trafficking of children. So
Ninth Circle. This is now Kevin Annett is ittc.com or whatever this common court, the Common Law Court. Pope Francis, Jorge Bergoglio, has been indicted by this court, like his predecessor, the Ratzinger, the guy who ran the modern Inquisition. Check it out. The Congregation of the the Congregation of the Faith, whatever that was called. It's the modern Inquisition. Check it out. So he is now referring to the fact that these high officials, these institutional child murderers under our watch, all our watch, we are complicit. If we don't speak out, we are complicit. And if you don't take care of your children and understand, and it's not a matter of discipline and guidance, has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people truly loving their children, wanting them to be the best, whoever they can unfold to be. It's like if they want to be a plumber, if they want to be an accountant, if they want to be an electrician, if they want to be an artist, if they want to be a social worker wherever, you allow children to be where they want to be, who they want to be. Now, Kevin Annett is exposing this deviant, this degenerate, this underbelly, this soft underbelly of our society, which has created Fukushima. Who do you think runs the nuclear plants? Who do you think runs Kissinger? He never got a hug in his life. So all he tries to do is fuck little kids, I guess. I don't know what the hell is going on here with these psychopaths. They start to rule the planet with their own agenda of satisfying themselves because they never got it when they were kids. Let's go to the next part. I'm going to just piggyback on this a little bit because I really love this man. He is fabulous. He's just absolutely fabulous.
Second aspect of that has to do
this
with
is an eyewitness.
Another eyewitness who's come forward.
Eyewitness about this.
This
Listen.
is a former a public servant. I won't say what capacity, because we're protecting this witness. But I spoke to this person on Skype over the last week, and this woman described in detail the operation of child sacrifice cults in Holland and Belgium. Now, she's the fourth one to come forward with the same kind of story. And
by the way, that's a monarchy as well. It's the last remaining monarchy in the West, I think. The Dutch monarch, Beatrice. These people all have this inclination, this proclivity to create the destruction that we face. Fukushima. Fukushima is basically a result of people hating their children. This is what I've said. This is sort of the breeding ground of our demise. Don't you get it? You gotta actually feel this. And all you information fuckers, I don't give a shit because you all know this. You all have this inside of you. You understand. I'm not making, this is not like a news story, or Annett is not telling you something you don't already know. You just sort of avoid it. You don't want to really think about it. And I'll tell you, here's how it works. Just actually accepting this is going to make a huge step towards changing it. And you don't have to go out of your house and start parading down the street and doing anything, just internalizing this. That's what I'm all about. My whole channel is about being able to internalize. And the art is something that allows us to internalize the quality of our existence, what it is, what it means to be alive. The art allows us to internalize this. The art is meaningless. I mean, a painting is just a thing. Why do you think, everybody says a work of art is of no value, really, like practically speaking. So why do you pay $500 million for a Van Gogh? If a Van Gogh, if his self-portrait came up for auction today, it would go well over 500 million and might even hit $1 billion. I don't know what it would hit. But forget about the Mona Lisa. That's just been a prime thing. What a piece of shit art that is, the Mona Lisa. Forget about it. I'm talking about real art like Van Gogh. It would go astronomical. Nothing is coming on the market as far as Van Gogh is concerned. Just wait and see the next one that'll come up. It'll probably pass $1 billion. I don't know what. Anyway, let's listen to Kevin Annett, this soul of conscience, for a bit more.
Involving, in this case, the younger brother of the present King of Holland. His name's King Willem. He had a younger brother called Friso. And
by the way, when I lived in Spain, I met this guy. He was the prince, whoever it was. What a despicable human being. I was privy to, I ended up in a community there. I had my studio on the Med. It was great. I spent all my money in Spain, and I did all right. It was okay. I sold some art. I came back to Canada, but I met these people, and I know exactly what they're like. I have a sense of these people, what Kevin is talking about. He's not pulling this out of his hat. Let's see, where am I? 348. By the way, I'm going to attach this to the bottom. You can see the whole thing. Oh yeah, I want you to get a hold of this. This is like what is called the criminal cartel in Holland. Listen to this.
The witness was a former member of what's called the Octopus. That's the name she had for it. It's a crime syndicate in the Netherlands and Belgium that controls the whole drug trade and is tied in closely with the government and the royal family. Now, according to this witness, the way it worked is the criminal syndicate gets children out of juvenile detention centers all over the Netherlands and Belgium. The detention centers are told that these children are going to work at the royal palace, Queen Beatrix's home.
This is going to be very disturbing, people. Now, he's going to go into some really graphic stuff. brace yourselves. Brace yourselves.
And these children are taken off in work parties and then they're never seen again. There are inside court officials who cover for the disappearances by saying, no, these children are just being moved elsewhere. But in fact, what happens is these children and teenagers are taken out and used not only in ritual killings, but in hunting parties, human hunting parties, where they're let loose naked in the woods after being drugged and taken out there, and they're hunted down and shot and killed. Now, this eyewitness says she witnessed in the year 1996, 2000, and 2004 these same kind of rituals going on.
Okay, all right. It's him speaking. He's revealing this to us. Oh, geez. Oh, that's too bad, I guess. People, we're all responsible on this. We're letting these reptiles, these disgusting hyenas, do this. You know what? It's like, I meet up with Blanche. We do our Fukushima stuff, the dogma burgers and all this, but this is actually so much more, as far as I'm concerned. This even goes deeper. Blanche talks about his father being murdered. This is powerful. But before his father was murdered, these children, these vulnerable souls, and I'm not detracting from the vets that were exposed to the nuclear blast. They were ignorant about what was happening. They were told to stand in the trenches, lift their heads up high, and watch the blast go off. This is exactly the same what they're doing to these children. But what I'm saying is, this is where it begins. This is where it starts. The fact that people, parents, allow others to dominate their children, to let someone who has no, I don't know why this works. They have no investment. We have every single child on this planet is an adult's investment. We need to protect and allow these souls to come to fruition, whichever way they can. What I've understood in my own work, my own breakthrough, I need to come to my own fruition to be of value to someone else. And Kevin Annett is exposing the very roots of the rot that's at the core of humanity. I don't even give a shit about civilization. Like Terence McKenna said, culture is not our friend. What is held up to be our save-all and be-all. We are Western culture. We are wonderful. What a bunch of hooey that is. We're useless. We're useless. Now I'm going to skip ahead to a part, and this is interesting because it involves, and some people still may have expectations in the financial world, and the Kissingers, and the Bilderberger types, the Bernankes, the Greenspans, everybody that is part of the winning team. And here's another team member. Listen to this.
In the Dutch countryside, where these penises were actually displayed on the wall like hunting trophies. Now now he's not making this up. Somebody came out and said, you know what? These young innocent souls were hunted down, murdered, and killed. And like if you hunt down an elk, or if you hunt down an elephant or a giraffe, I don't know what the fuck you kill and you put up a trophy. This is what they're doing with human beings. And he's not making this up. He said people who were involved in this one incident included the present Prime Minister of Holland. His name is Mark Rutte, R-U-T-T-E. George Soros, the multi-billionaire, who was a friend of this Prince Friso.
This guy I met, this guy Soros, this piece of slime fucking shit on the planet, Soros, who funds both sides, the Open Mind Institute, or whatever he calls it. He funds people with his billions of dollars. Oh, he's just a guy that knows how to make money. No. Soros is an insider on this reptile community. He's not somebody that's like has good qualities. There's no good quality in a person like this. The Soros types are the demise of this planet. And I come back to Fukushima, what we're facing. This is the ultimate challenge we'll face. certainly in our life, in my life, and the next 30 generations, because nuclear fission is out of control. We cannot control nuclear fission. The same way, unless we get these reptiles under control that are actually destroying the fabric of our humanity by hating children, by using children to satisfy their impulse. They want to satisfy their impulse. They want to satisfy, gore, trying to nail some kind of cleaning lady in a hotel. He's like exposed, and Tipper says, "Fuck you, you piece of shit. I want nothing to do with you. You have no integrity. You have no conscience. People that appear to have conscience have no conscience." Soros is on the ground level of absolute degeneracy. Let's see, I'm going to skip ahead. I'm not going to do much more of this. Kevin Annett, what an amazing human being. Okay, let's see what he's got to say.
In the Brussels.
Well, that's really up to the prosecutor's office. I can't, speak for them or anything. I'm just kind of an advisor to them. I'm feeding them a lot of this information and evidence. But it's clear that the initial case having to do with the three defendants, Pope Francis, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, and the head of the Jesuits, Adolfo Pachon, who, by the way, has already announced his upcoming resignation after being indicted in our case. All three of those
naming names
were connected to this Ninth Circle ritual cult and the child trafficking.
The Ninth
Clearly
Circle.
The case has evolved much beyond that now, and there's going to have to be spin-off cases.
Wow.
If justice is to be served around all this evidence is pouring in now. So I would imagine, I couldn't imagine it not happening.
I'll leave it there. He's going to go on about a bunch of detail that he's working on. And I just thought, I get so worked up about this. I don't know why. By the way, I don't have children. Maria has a son. And it's not something that was front and center for me. I don't know why. I guess maybe I'm selfish in the sense I want to make my paintings, I want to make art. But I just thought I'd post this. And I want to talk to end this off, I want to say, my own passion and connection. When I make a painting, the best work I do, it has nothing to do with aesthetics. I'm not interested in pleasing anyone. Go fuck yourself. The paintings I make are not to please you. The paintings I make is, if anything, if I piss you off or I disturb you, I've succeeded. And if I don't sell another single fucking painting in my life, so be it. So be it. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to sell my soul because somebody says, oh, it's got to look like this. Oh, I like this. I like that. Oh, yeah, people coming. I had people in the studio. Oh, I like this. I like that. Well, you know what? I'll find something. I've done a series of paintings that, I do flowers. I don't know, whatever. There's different kinds of paintings I make, but the sense I have in myself, the conscience that I've been given. I think it came from my parents. I think they passed this on to me in some form or other to do the right thing. I want to do the right thing, and you got to do the right thing. And you listen to somebody like Annett, who is actually so committed to protecting the vulnerable and to exposing the criminals that are actually undermining the very root of our existence, and that is to support children. And and you see in culture, FIFA, the soldiers, the gladiators on the playing field walk out and they have children on their hand. What a bunch of fucking pretenders. Nobody gives a shit about children anymore. And Annett is exposing it. It's in our face. It's in our face. And nobody takes it seriously. And I'm telling you, if you do not love children unconditionally, you are part of Fukushima. You are part of the complicity. This is what's happening on our planet now. You can post whatever you want. You can post all the information till the cows come home. It's irrelevant. It's on the ground, and you got to show up. You got to show up. You got to show up and support the people that are actually trying to make this difference, like a Blanche on the Fukushima thing, like Kevin Annett. If I have an opportunity, I will do what I can to support this man. actually, he is a lot more important than anybody on the planet, I think, right now, because he's actually identified the criminals that are undermining all of us. I don't think there's anything else.